Hey everyone and welcome. Today I am going to be doing an unboxing and review of the recent release from Mezco, the Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. And as you can see, this is part of the 112 Collective figures. And down here you'll see the new DC logo that's on the figure. And as you can see, the packaging looks really nice. It's really nice, stylized in the way for the Suicide Squad with a lot of red in it and skulls and behind right here. Hope you can see that. On the back you can see that we have the promotional photos that they have for the figures down here, and then we also have the figure with some of the accessories displayed out right here. So let's see if we can just look at that right here and open up, and it's a slip cover. It's most of the new figures now are coming out in slip covers, so it's no longer the open flaps. But as you can see, the figure stands right here with the two alternate heads and some of the other accessories. So let's get it out of the packaging and then we'll see how it looks. Alright, let's just grab there, and right here you will see the packaging really nicely, the figure with all the accessories, and on the back you can see it also has the figure stand and it has the jacket right here, which is removable, which is really nice. It's a fabric jacket, which I'm looking forward to looking at. So really nice. So let me get some of these things out and we can take a look at it. So let's start with her weapons accessories. As you can see, Harley Quinn comes with her signature hand pistol, which is a nice revolver gun, and it's detailed very nicely, and it's got very nice paint on it. The gold is really nice on this area right here. The handle right here is white with a little decoration, really nicely detailed. Back here you can see, I'm not sure if you can tell, there is a little HQ for Harley Quinn. On the chamber here it says love, and on the other side you will see the same design and everything, except in this chamber you will see hate. So it's very nicely detailed. It looks though some of the gold paint came on the wrong area right here, but it's not too bad. It's pretty cool. And she also comes with her little holster that goes around her shoulders to hold her gun. So you can see it's very nicely detailed right here. Nice gold paint. It's very flexible, so there's no issue whatsoever of knowing if it's gonna break on you. So you can see the gold painted rivets right here are nice. You can see the holster looking very nice, almost that of some leathery material, but it's very shiny. And on this area you can see her extra bullets for her gun, which are easy for her to load when she needs to it. But as you can see, if you get the gun, it easily slips in right there, which is really cool and really nice when you put this on the figure. But also she comes with her signature bat. Now this is one of the pieces that I think is really nicely done and well done by Mezco. As you can see, it does have the good night text on here, and very intricately in the bat is little text in which the bat also was in the film all over. And as you can look downward, all the detail is there. It's very nice. You can even see the pattern that's similar to that of Harley's tattoo on her wrist right here. And you can see the wrap around the bat. So it's very nicely detailed. And you can, I'm not sure if the camera will capture it, but there is a bit of a wood grain sculpted in this bat. I'm not sure if you're grabbing that. Apologize if you can't see it. But it's very nice, and it's not too difficult to move around, but it's really nicely detailed. And those are her weapons accessories. In terms of hands, Harley Quinn comes with a pair of a slightly open hand, one that is gloved, one that is not. She comes with a bat holding hand, which are also gloved and ungloved, and she comes with one hand that's specifically for the gun that she uses. And as you can see, it goes on right there very nicely. The hand is very flexible, so you can just slip it on, and she holds it pretty nicely. So it's nicely done, and it only looks as though she uses it for her right hand is only used for her gun. So that's unfortunate. It would have been nice to have it with her left hand, but that is the hand pieces that Harley Quinn comes with. Now putting these hands on the figure is not that bad. As you can see, you can easily push it in there and it'll lock itself in. Very nice. And as you can see, this is the right hand with the gun, and you can easily just pop it in there. So with little force, not much. Just make sure that the pin doesn't move on you. Little plug, there we go. And as you can see, it works out pretty well. I do want to warn you though that taking these things off of the hand can be very dangerous, because as soon as I pop one of them off, the half of this pin little wrist area popped off, and I was able to put it back in. But you might want to be careful when doing this. But once you get it in there, it's very nice. It doesn't give you any issues whatsoever. Really cool. Now this Harley Quinn action figure actually comes with 3 alternate heads, which is very nice because it's not something that we get usually in most Mezco figures. But the fact is that Harley Quinn is a very expressive character in the film and also in comics and everywhere else. And to have 3 alternate heads is great to show. As you can see right here is the first head. And this is the one that came in the actual figure. It is painted very nicely. As you can see, the details is very nice. Down to the tattoos that are on her cheek, to her cheek area right here. It's nice. The color of the hair is done nicely. It's a nice red wash, but it looks like it's also faded, so it looks really nice. All back here, you can also see the paintedness of the hair. And this is the expression of her, just very smiling, almost looking mean. The only issue I have with this one is on her left eye right here. The pupil seems to be looking downward, where this one looks to be upward. So that's one of the unfortunate things I have with this one. Over here, we have the more expressive, smiling, happy face out there, you know, like about to yell or about to just say something ridiculous out of her mouth. But it's a very expressive face, as you can see. And just to let you guys know, it's hard to really see this in camera and the detail on it, and even in photos. So the expression here is very, very nice, and it's in hand and with your own eyes you can see so much great details. And the last one we have here is the bubblegum blowing Harley Quinn. As you can see, it's very, very nicely done. That's a very translucent pink, and as you can see, as you move it around, you can see through it, and it can capture everything behind it. So it's very nice. Her skin is very pale, so it's very hard to capture the exact color on camera. I apologize, and then I'm seeing that it's blowing out right here, but the details are all the same in terms of where the tattoos are, the paint on the hair, and all that stuff. So it's really nice and really cool for them to add. And just adding the head onto the actual figure is very simple. As you just put it in there, as you can see, it's a double ball peg right here, which is nice, and you just snap that on, and there you go. It's very nicely holds on nicely, and it's looks to be really done nicely in the back. So now let's look at the figure in its entirety, and I gotta tell you, Mezco did an amazing job. From the hair down to her shirt, to her leggings, and to her shoes, the details are all there, and it's all done with fabric and plastic, and it's done in the best way possible. As you can see right here, you've already seen how the head art is, and we can see the details are all there. In the neck right here, you can see that her neck collar has the pudding on it, which is really nice. You also have her t-shirt, which is a material which is really nice, which is very spandexy, so it moves around with her, and it's very close to her skin, so it makes her look like the skinny character that she is. They even had the Daddy's Little Monster on the shirt done really nicely. And what's really interesting too is that Mezco went a little bit above and beyond, because knowing that this particular fabric in the film, the shirt was somewhat see-through, so they also made it so that underneath her shirt she has her bra, which is what you see in the film when she's dressing in front of all the soldiers, and her bra is painted all around her back, which is really, really nice. Great detail right there. And it's also, you can see the detail here. There is the tattoos that she has in the front. She says, "Lucky you." There's also a little dolphin right there, and in the back it says, "I am watching." And there's also the tattoo of TM and DC Comics. So yeah, unfortunately that's the only place that we're able to put that, but it's not too bad because you don't see it as often. If you go down to her arms, you can see that she also has these other accessory pieces, which is her little bracelet, spiked bracelet. She also has a "Yes Sir" bracelet, and on this other side was "Yes." I apologize, I meant "Yes" here, and this side meant "Sir." You can see her gloved hand on her left hand is very nicely done, painted well. Looks very shiny, looks like a glove that you would probably wear when you're out in the town. Her belt here is very loose and it moves around, so it's simple enough to get it moved around, so you don't have to worry about it getting caught or being positioned wrong any other time. I want to say her panties, but I really am not sure that's what they're called. But her little trunks here are done very nicely. It's a really well done stitch work. You can see the blue and the red put together, and all the way around, really nice. And they're very tiny, so it's really hard sometimes to keep it up without having it go too high to a point where the bottom plastic pops out. So, but it's done nicely, so really good job on that. What's really impressive in my mind is this: the fact that they put netting on her legs is superb. It's not that easy to do something like that for a figure at this size, because I'm always worried about how it's going to rip. And as you can see, they netted the area right here in the back so that it reinforces the area when you use the joint on the knee, so it doesn't mess it up at all, which is done really nicely. But unfortunately, some areas are already starting to rip on mine. It's not real cool, but for the aesthetic reasons, I think it'll work okay, because I would assume in the film, I think she did in the film, start to rip some of her netting, so it just adds more to the actual look of the fit and feel of the movie. And then we come down to her boots, which is done in two parts. We have a plastic floating piece that's part of her top boot, and then we have the bottom piece, which is the stiletto area, which is nice, and you can see the details there are nice, really nicely. So you can move these up as you move the pieces around, and then you can just move them back down, and it's so nice, and it moves very freely, not catching on anything of the netting. And in the bottom you can see the peg hose that are used for the stand. So the overall look and feel of this figure is very nice. Adding her accessories such as her gun holster is very simple, as you can see right here. Right by the back end right here of where the gun goes, there's a little plug in which you can just detach, and it's done like that. And then you can just easily put her hand through the loop right here and get through the back. This goes through the front end. Put that up, and then you come over here and you start to attach this area. So here I have the actual gun holster already placed in. It did take me a while to put on. It's not as easy as I thought it was, but as you can see now, you can put the gun in the holster and she can have it onto her side. It's not too bad. And then we have this piece that keeps falling off on me, which is irritating. But other than that, I mean, her accessory works out pretty well. Now, one of the accessories that comes with this Harley Quinn figure that I really like is her jacket. Now, this jacket is made of an actual fabric, and as you can see, they packaged it very well inside of this little plastic sleeve or so. And it also comes with this cardboard cutout that makes it look as though it just came out of the dry cleaners or something, just to make it so that it doesn't get wrinkled. And the stitching work on this is it's excellent, I gotta tell you. The way they did it is as though they've done it for like a human person's jacket, and it's done with excellent craftsmanship, all down to the little cuff areas that it's designed a very nice way. All the way to the back, when you see it, it has all of the appropriate text that are in the jacket, which says "Property of Joker, established since forever, puddin' and freaky." So it's pretty awesome to see something like this be made for a 6-inch figure, and putting it on the actual figure isn't too bad. You want to actually take off the hand and be very careful. As I mentioned, you don't want to break the pegs here, and you want to slip off the bracelet that says "Sir" and "Yes" on both ends, so that way it makes it easier to put it on. Take all of them off, and you have it like that. And you want to probably take off the head too, just to be sure. There we go. So then we just want to put it on the same way you do any other jacket on any doll, but this is not a doll, this is an action figure. So let's just make sure you put this on slowly but surely. And as you can see, it starts to fit her very well. Make some adjustments here and there, and just be careful making sure you have the exact place it's supposed to go. Putting it on. There we go. Putting the pegs through the sleeves. Right there. There we go. And yeah, and then you just want to start putting everything else back on. We will skip the other bracelets on because you don't really need it. put that hand on, put this hand on, there we go, and then we just grab her head. But let's get her a different head, just because it'll be fun to have a different head on this figure, and snap it on there. Okay, and there you go, and there you have Harley Quinn with her jacket, and it works really well. And as you can see also, since she also has her gun holster in here, you can't tell a bunch up at all. It just looks like a jacket that any normal person would wear, but then inside you can see she has her holster, which is amazingly done. So yeah, this is one of my favorite accessories for this figure overall. Now let's take a look at the articulation on this figure. And since this is the first Mezco female figure, it is important to see what is in store for the future line for the females. As you can see right here, her head can look up very nicely, good, and she can look down. She can look left and right, and she does have some pivot too, so it gives you a lot of interesting posing options. It also has pegs on her heads and all the heads where she can actually move them backwards, so it gives you the options to give it more of a blown in the wind pose, which is really cool. And they do fall off occasionally, so don't worry about that. It's one of those things that it'll happen, but it's not going to break anything. And for the shoulder area, there's no armpit joint whatsoever on here, but it is able to go up high, so that's a pretty good range. And it actually can go forward pretty high, and it can go back, so it gives you a lot of good motions with this fabric, so it doesn't get hindered whatsoever. Now when we go into the elbow here, the elbow can only go up halfway, so it only gives you about a 90-degree bend, which is very unfortunate, but because it seems like for the size of this figure, and because she is very skinny, having a double jointed elbow will probably mess up the sculpt, and if anything, probably cause problems with the fabric getting caught in there, so I can forgive him for that. So here we also have the regular ball hinge joint, which you can do any movement whatsoever. We do have a diaphragm, which you saw earlier when we lifted her shirt up, and the diaphragm can move very much everywhere, which is really cool. She also has a waist joint here that also allows you to move slightly everywhere too, mostly front and back, not much side to side, and doesn't really turn at all. However, I do have to mention that it looks like it's a bit crooked on mine. Either the plastic from the waist area, from the buttocks to her waist, is a little off, or the plastic wasn't placed in right, but it's not a big issue, so it's not a problem for me whatsoever. Now her legs are the most impressive parts. She can go up pretty high, I mean pretty far, and that's a pretty good motion. And back wise, she can go a little back, and wide she can go pretty much that far, which is pretty cool. And we have in here, we can't really see it, but there is a upper thigh swivel, and it's really nice of them to do that because you can't see it, and it looks really nice, so it doesn't break the sculpt or the design whatsoever. Now her knee right here can give you a pretty good bend. It's not too far, but it's good enough to a point where you can actually give good poses with it, as though she's doing running poses. Right here, it's a floating piece, so that's not an articulated, but this is the most important thing that I want to talk about, because the ankles on this are very different compared to that of the regular line, because you can actually move it around and it gives you pretty good amount of ankle pivot. So it can get forward a little bit. It seems to get stuck on this end, but on this end it seems much more looser. But because it is a little loose, sometimes it can be difficult to stand. So using the stand that it comes with, it will help you for posing purposes. But what I'm really impressed with is the ability of how this figure can get a lot of ankle pivot, and she can stand pretty far out. Oops. Try to get that for you guys. Apologize. Let's see if I can get this part. Well, more or less, she can spread those legs pretty far, so that is a really amazing thing for this figure, and I'm hoping that this kind of articulation will get better once we get the Wonder Woman in the future. But overall, the articulation on her is pretty amazing. And here is a comparison of the SH Figure Arts Harley Quinn with the new release Mezco 112 Harley Quinn. And as you can see, there is a difference in their size. The SH Figure Art is somewhat known to be a much more smaller scale figure, whereas the Mezco 112 line is bit to be that of the 6-inch range. So seeing them side by side, you can see a difference in terms of their height, and the way they're stylized is very different, where this figure only comes with their jacket attached. There's no way of taking that off. It's just the way it is. Whereas this figure gives you the option of putting the jacket on or taking it off, and so you have multiple options for this figure, which is what I liked so much so far about this. But as you can see, even the netting on the legs are so much better on this figure than it is on this. This is sculpted netting. This is much actual netting. So the difference here is really, really nice. But let me give you the idea of terms of how tall they are. So as you can see right here, Margot Robbie's character, or at least the Harley Quinn character here, is close to 6 inches, whereas this one is almost about 5.5 inches. But looking into the research on this, the actress Margot Robbie is about the right scale size would be this SH Figure Arts figure. She is not as 6 feet tall, which is this figure seems to suggest. But overall, it seems like these both figures are great. And I gotta tell you, they're both different styles, but they both are awesome figures. But I have to tell you that the only difference that between these two, in my mind, besides the clothing and the sculpting and all, is the heads. And I have to say that the SH Figure Arts for me is the much better sculpted head, and also the face printing technology on this actually makes me feel like this is more Margot Robbie's character, where this one looks a little bit off. It's still great sculpt, it just doesn't look to me quite as the actress from the film. But the great thing about it is that you can also just use this as a regular not Margot Robbie. You can actually use this more as a regular Harley Quinn figure in your collection, which is what I'm about to do for this. But this is just amazing, just seeing these two figures together. And just to put this Mezco Harley Quinn next to two other figures in my collection, here we have the BVS Batman, and then we also have the regular Joker that was released from Mezco. And as you can see, she fits very nicely into scale. She's not taller than any of these figures, so she fits right into scale. And having these Harley Quinn now with Batman here looks amazing. You can see the darkness of this character, and you can see the brightness of her next to Mr. J. And you can see how character-wise she's done well, and how the multiple heads that they give her will give her so many different expressions and so many different posabilities for this character. It is great. So this is just an amazing display right now. So overall, guys, I gotta tell you that this is actually a really great figure to have in your collection. And being that Harley Quinn is the first female Mezco 112 figure that we got, I think that you will not be disappointed whatsoever to getting this. I do have some minor gripes about this. One of the things I don't like is these bracelets, from these spiked bracelets on her. They tend to fall off me every single time. When I was moving it, they kept falling in, because it's not like these other bracelets that say yes and sir. It doesn't slide up and fit in, it just pops out. That's one of the things I don't like. Also, her ankles seem to be a little loose every once in a while, but once you get it working right, she will always stand, and she won't give you that many problems. But that's just one of the things that I like about it. And just the options that they give you with this is great. I mean, I think Mezco did an amazing job putting this figure together, and even though it took longer than we wanted this figure to come out, I am just glad that we actually got it, because now we can see what the future line for Mezco will be once they end up getting the other figures out, especially Wonder Woman, which is one of the favorite figures that I'm hoping to get later on. But yeah, overall, guys, I have to say, get this figure while you still can. I believe it's still available at like Big Bag Toy Store, and perhaps you can order it from your comic shop. But yeah, like, don't miss out on this opportunity just because it's a female one, or if not, it's like Harley Quinn and you may not like the way she's designed, but you don't want to miss it, because this is just a great figure. So overall, thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope I gave you enough information. I do want to mention also, she does come with her stand, and it's a regular stand like all the Mezco figures, but I didn't talked about it, but I apologize about that. But I hope by this time you all get the idea of what she comes with, or what they all come with. But yeah, so thanks a lot for joining me again. And if you like this video, please let me know by pressing the like button, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments about this figure, let me just put them on the video below, and I will try to answer as best I can. So yeah, thanks a lot guys, and have a good day.